Hi, welcome to Terry Travels. This is a warm, well, it's not warm, but it's a sunny Sunday morning. And behind me here is Werribee Station. It's a train station. The train line goes all the way to Melbourne. But I'm not taking the train. I'm using it as a guideline. It has a kind of cool effect. I like that. I've got the sun in my eye, so I'm hiding behind a tree. This is the start of a project. This is the start of an adventure. It's the start of an odyssey where I've decided I need to do something to try to get my fitness better than it is. And that something is I'm going to walk to Melbourne, Naarm. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it all today. I'm not stupid. I'm 68 years old and I've got an atrial fibrillation in my heart, which means my heart has trouble regulating its beats. But what I can do is walk from one train station to another. And that's the plan. Today's plan is to walk from here to Hoppers Crossing Station, which is 4.2 kilometres maybe, depending on how it goes. And I'm going to take you along for the journey. Then the next video is going to be from Hoppers Crossing to Williams Landing to Aircraft to Laverton, all the way through the 15 stations that I need to pass in order to get to the middle of Melbourne. So each video is going to be one different step in that path. I don't know whether I can do it, to be honest with you. The future's a mystery, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to start here and hopefully I will end up at Hoppers Crossing Station in some condition to continue my life. Let's get started. The train's just left and let the adventure begin. Through the car park, of course, and into the sun, because I live in the squinting part of the world where commuters squint in the sun in the morning and squint at the sun in the evenings. So we're in Werribee and we're going to be heading along Railway Parade, which is the path closest to the railway line. There is one on the other side, but it's a lot more boring. And I'm trying not to do boring. By the way, there's a couple of rules for this walk, which I will tell you about in a moment. The first rule is street photography. I've got to take 5 pictures along the way, doing some street photography, and at the end of the video, I'm going to show you what those 5 images are. So that's the first rule. Second rule is, if it gets too difficult, or if I come up lame or anything happens, I can stop and continue the journey when I'm better. That's the second one. Third rule, be safe. Fourth rule, and this may be the most important one, I'm allowed to have a coffee at the end of the journey. Fifth rule is be safe. So there we go. There's your signage. 6 minutes to Kelly Park. 3 minutes to Watton Street. We're not going that way. Werribee Station. Got some really nice landscaping here because this didn't used to be like this. Originally, this was a level crossing across the train line. The cars had to pass across to get to the other side of Werribee. But they no longer have to do that. It's much better. Up ahead, we're going to see a bridge that replaces the level crossing here. And so they landscaped everything here. And down here is the Cherry Street underpass, which enables pedestrians to get from one side to the other. And that too is landscaped. We're not going that way, we're staying on this side of the road. Now I could stay up here or I can go down here. Which will I do? I will stay up here. Choices must be made. It's good they've landscaped all this. There were originally a lot more gum trees along here, but they had to cut some down for doing the level crossing work. But they've landscaped it all, and it works. And every now and then I get a bit of shade, which is good, instead of the sun in my eyes. Yeah, it's not a bad morning. It's about 10 degrees. First day of winter, which is a very interesting time to start this vlog. But we'll see how we go. If you see me pause, it's not because I'm resting. It's because I'm taking those street photography shots that I promise you at the end of each video. Here's the bridge that replaced the underpart, the level crossing. And it's a kind of wiggly bridge, but it does the job really well. The state government promised to get rid of level crossings in Melbourne, and there were hundreds of them. And so they've done that with this. In fact, there are 3 level crossings. We're going to see the 3rd one at the end of this walk. But there were 3 of them in the area, all of which messed up traffic a lot because you had to close the roads for the trains to get over. It was a whole thing, and that's no longer the case. Up there leads up to Tarneet. That's Tarneet Road. And I've got to cross here and go on the other side. This area over here used to be a quarantine station for livestock. So if your animal had anthrax, then you had to put it here for them to make sure it didn't have anthrax. So it was a quarantine station. It's no longer a quarantine station. It's a retirement village. There's the back of the bridge. And here we go up Railway Parade again. There's the irrigation channel. Not a lot of irrigation going on around here now that there are houses everywhere, but the channel remains. And we've reached Orchard Place, which is a very cool little area. Beautifully landscaped, as you can see, with some of the few terrace houses in the area built along one side of the park. Very genteel looking place. And by the way, there's another rule on this walk which I'm going to illustrate. Across there is an op shop, a thrift store. And the rule for the walks is, if I pass an open thrift store, I've got to go in and look around. And this one's not open. It's Sunday morning, it's fairly early, so missed out on that one, but there are other ones along the way. Used car yards and all sorts of other things along here. There are also some food trucks. And I'll show you them when we get to them. Nice and shady along here. There are used car yards along here too. That one says we pay cash for cars. And down here is Werribee Cemetery, which stretches for the rest of this road and ends at Derrimut Road. That's the historical cemetery, but it's still being used. But now we're going to cross the road because there's a lot more interesting things on the other side. There you go, if you ever want to do mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, BJJ, I'm not sure what BJJ is. Could be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something sexual. Kickboxing, mixed martial arts, self-defense. There's a garden centre here, which always has problems because there's no off-street parking. And so, well, there is a little bit, but people get, this road gets very busy when the garden centre kicks in. And behind there is the railway line. This one's fairly new. Oh, they do dumplings. Oh, Chinese dumplings, Indian food, milkshakes, more Indian food, and wood-fired pizza. Cool. And there is parking. You can see more of the cemetery there, the bone orchard. And that there is the mausoleum. The Werribee Mausoleum. Right opposite Food Biz. It's where you get your party food. Werribee Spice House, Indian food. And it looks like their birds of paradise are doing quite well here too. A pole dancing studio. And we're right close to the railway line, of which you're going to see a lot more. Friendly grocer. A women's gym. Dog grooming. And a tyre place. So we've made it to Derrimut Road, which is the halfway point. And I'm still vertical, which is good. I'm going to take a break from filming right now so I can have a drink of water and a rest. And then we're going that way and along the railway tracks, all the way to Hoppers Crossing. Okay, back again. And you're going to get a lot less traffic noise, which is good, because we're taking the path alongside the railway tracks. Hopefully, if there's no blockages, all the way to Hoppers Crossing Station. So Werribee's that way, Hoppers is this way, and there does seem to be a dirt track here, which is good. It's not going to be pretty and picturesque along here, but it's the way. Unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of rain, so it's not muddy. But as you might see there are 3 rail lines. The furthest one is the one to Werribee. The second one is the one from Werribee. And the third one is the freight line that just bunges through the stations to bring freight to and from the west of Victoria. And as you can see along here, where you have train lines, you have graffiti. Hopefully we will get a train coming along for a little bit of action. But it is Sunday, and Sunday schedules are not as busy. It's going to be rough along here, a little bit rocky. And this is kind of odd because that's the backyard of that place. And there's a vacant block here. I don't know why. There's another one of those vacant blocks. And of course, more graffiti. Looking back where we came. And in the distance I can see Hoppers Crossing Station. I'm not sure whether being able to see it is better or worse. I've got a bit of prickly pear cactus over here. That's edible stuff. If you peel off all the spiky bits, it's actually a food source, prickly pear. And someone's made a bit of a garden along here, which is kind of cool. There's a fence ahead, which might block me. We'll see. I'd hate to have to double back all the way to Derrimut Road. So if there's a way around, I'm taking it. Here we go. Some homophobic slurs there. Not cool. Some rubbish dumped. Let's see. Well, this is a problem, isn't it? I'm going to stop the camera and see if I can climb over, because there is a possibility I can. There's a bit of a view for you. And there's my way across. Very carefully and quickly. And because I don't know whether it's open at the other end, I may have to go up through the park and down along there. Interesting. There's no entry sign down there, but not at the other end. Weird. So I'm going to climb down here now. Very, very carefully, because it is steeper than it looks. Success. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it up the other end. So we'll have to go up through the park here and into deepest, darkest suburbia. Time for another break, and then the last bit to the station. This is the older part of Hoppers Crossing, by the way. Houses are about 50 years old. And Hoppers Crossing is one of the few places in Melbourne which was named after a woman, Mrs. Hopper, who ran the level crossing at Hoppers Crossing Station, which is now gone. But they named the suburb after Mrs. Hopper. And there we have it, Hoppers Crossing Station. I made it. And I think it took slightly less than an hour. So I'm going to sit down here, gather my thoughts, and end the vlog. I love the fact that the park here is laid out like a train station. There you go, proof of life. I made it. 4.2 kilometres. I'll probably did a bit more than that. And I haven't done that much walking in a long time. But it's good that I did. Yeah, I'm not feeling bad. The aches and pains may come later, but I'm not feeling bad. And I'm looking forward to the next one, which is from Hoppers Crossing Station to Williams Landing. That's slightly longer by about 400 metres. And it's mostly industrial and kind of outlet stores. But I'll see if I can make it interesting. We'll go over Skeleton Creek. We'll do the whole thing. Don't think I'll take any of the back ways along railway tracks anymore. To be honest with you, the paths are rougher. There's a lot more stones and uneven surfaces and things like that, which is kind of less safe than going along marked pathways. But, you know, this is a learning experience as well. So that's it this time around. I got to Hoppers Crossing Station. Just going to walk up to the car park up the top bit there and call Sal and she'll pick me up and take me home. I've got my exercise for the day. I don't know how many steps I've done. I don't particularly care. For me, it's more about the journey. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see the rest of them, of which will be about 15, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can also support the channel by donating at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. Next one's going to be up in a few days. I don't know if I'm going to keep to the weekly schedule or do them a bit faster. It really does depend on when I do the next steps. But eventually, based on what this one is, eventually I'll be walking into the city of Melbourne, which is still about 30 kilometres away. And it's going to take me a lot more than 30 kilometres to get there because I'm not taking a direct route, I'm following the train tracks. But until next time, take care of yourselves, travel well, and I'll see you next time. And here comes one of the big freight trains. Impeccable timing, that train. Catch you next time.